So just a few thoughts from that paper on the pathways for accountable data governance. So as I said, there are many facets of data governance, and the legal, regulatory, and institutional frameworks are essential. And there's no doubt about that. And there's some excellent work going on those frameworks around the world. However, it's not enough. They're not enough on their own to make data governance truly accountable. So based on our engagement, the first pathway that we really focus on is putting participation at the heart of data systems. This is about creating and maintaining dedicated spaces for participation and deliberation around data collection, sharing, and use. And our sense is that the demand for such spaces is rising, as proven by the popularity and engagement and burgeoning literature around data trust, data institutions, citizen assemblies, and data cooperatives and other mechanisms. But even when the demand is not clearly articulated, evidence suggests that creating those spaces for participation can have a really effective response in mobilizing the individuals and communities that were not previously engaged. Another really important note is that our views on participation are not necessarily about direct participation. We recognize that it's not realistic to give every person everywhere a role in decision-making on every data governance matter, nor is it feasible or desirable. But there are ways indirectly through representation, through various mechanisms to create avenues for that participation. And finally, the idea of data stewardship is a function or a role that has emerged in both private sector and public sector discussions. And it's clear that data stewards have a really critical role to play in creating these avenues and spaces for participation, bringing different stakeholders in and creating a mechanism to allow people who are affected by decision-making around data to be able to weigh in on those decisions. And the second pathway, it really focuses on strengthening leaders' capacity in data governance. And here, this is really critical because the emphasis on skills and capacity development in the data space has typically focused on technical skills and capacities, data science, the ability to use geospatial tools and technologies, programming languages, but much less attention has been given to the governance and management skills required to foster accountable data governance, to enable that participation and to build trust with various stakeholders. And our sense is that there's very little formal training out there on these matters. We've found very little, though some does exist, and that oftentimes because data governance is so context specific that creating avenues for mentorship and peer exchange is one of the most viable ways to build knowledge and understanding and skills on data governance, because it allows people in different scenarios to troubleshoot and share their experiences. So that's an area we'll be focusing on in the future.